Hello, this is not a spring chicken. Of course, the big news today is, oh no, not that it's day 2 at the Cannes Film Festival. Oh yes, and where is all the media? But that's, of course, real important. But the big news, of course, is that they're saying, let's see, if you reduce, wait a minute, if you take away the subsidies for the fuel industry, that actually gas will go down. Where do they come up with that? Well, for now, we're going to bring Oldecam on with comments on the headlines of today.
No.
So when is that alternative fuel going to be available?
Oh, at least by 2025.
Oh, only another good 14 years. So
Yeah,
what are we to do until
we
then?
have to start putting the money into it now so that we can cut our dependence upon big oil. You know, now, knowing that we're going to have this in the future, well, I'm going to tell you people, we don't have the batteries for the automobiles. Everything you do everything that is alternate energy is hazardous waste. And if you're going to go to bio stuff, basically you kill the food supply. So you tell me how that works out. And it's all going to cost. We're going to a thing on wind power next in a week, and we're going to find out how much difference there is between the last one we went, which was 2 years ago, and this one. And I'll bet you it's going to cost you more for wind power now than it did when we went the last time. And nobody liked it because it was, you lose 20, then you were losing 25 cents on every dollar that you were investing.
And Obama to issue executive order to crush any business that contributes to Republicans?
Well, yeah. Well, he said this is we're trying to be transparent with the deals that people are making. It basically only affects businesses that would contribute to Republicans.
Interesting.
It won't affect the Democrats because the Democrats' businesses give through the union workers. Whereas the business give Republicans just give the money straight up. They're up and up. They said, well, it will stop that disgraceful thing where the Europeans funneled money through the Chamber of Commerce, and then they came back, well, yes, there was an investigation, and they didn't funnel the money through the Chamber of Commerce. But they wanted to. But they said he will executive. This is what happens. If you elect the man to the presidency for another term, folks, you're going to see our country, change.
Oh, it's even going to be worse because what are they doing right now with, what is it, the New York Stock Exchange? And
they're threatening anybody that wants to interfere with the Europeans buying the New York Stock Exchange with a criminal investigation. That's abuse of the Justice Department.
That is abuse.
But he doesn't care because as long as Obama has regulatory powers, he has the Justice Department and his total contempt for the Congress, he will regulate us into nothing.
Which means if he's elected president again,
well, it
doesn't matter what Congress is.
When you consider who's running on the Republican side.
I know.
Yeah, they don't want any of those people, and no one is going to run that has a chance of winning because they don't satisfy the right side of the party, which is not the conservative side, it's the Christian right side.
Obama sees nothing wrong in songs that support the death of George Bush or killing police officers.
Well, he said that this young man unfortunately said some things that he shouldn't have said, but we have to stand by his rights to say them. Well, it is a crime, folks. It is a crime to threaten a president of the United States, or it's called, you cannot threaten a member of the federal government's life. You also cannot threaten the life of a police officer. When you do that, it's also a crime. Mm-hmm. But the problem is we have a president that doesn't know the difference between right and wrong. Totally and absolutely does not know the difference between right and wrong, which means that, it didn't come from his grandmother. His grandmother, as I understand, knew the difference between right and wrong. So.
And Bin Laden's diary shows he eyed new targets and a big body count.
Okay, folks, we're going to try something. How do we know when those diaries were written? Because I'm the President of the United States, and I tell you those diaries are new. He hasn't done anything since 9/11. That doesn't mean he wasn't planning. What was he going? Okay, basically, I'm BS the bull. I could do something. All I do is just lift my tail up. That's more than what they've been doing. Well, that doesn't make any difference. I'm the President of the United States. If I tell you these things are what he was planning to do now, believe me, because I'm a president, and presidents would never fib the American public. We didn't answer that one, so.
Uh-huh. And 2 earthquakes in Spain killed 10 and caused major damage.
Because what's happening, I'm trying to explain a bit of geology. I did take geology in school. What happens is they're depleting the groundwater levels in all of these countries. And what happens is the ground is basically sliding back into place to fill the big caverns where all the water was taken out of us. Why we have earthquakes in areas where lots of oil are done. You know, because of the fact they're draining the pools of oil where they leave huge caverns where the oil is, and the ground naturally goes to settle back in. That's why California has so many fault. And the earthquakes get worse and worse and worse as we drain more water and more oil out of the ground.
And Navy halts moved to allow gay unions by chaplains.
Yeah, because they know that the Republicans are taking control of the House. First of all, only the people on the left. And basically, you want to tell who is gay in the Republican Party? They voted to allow gays in the military.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a very simple issue. They're not being reelected to office the next time, so.
And federal judge puts halt to Utah's new immigration law.
Well, yeah, I love this one because it has no chance of passing whatsoever, and it hurts the rights of the people that the law is aimed at. They don't have any rights. They're not here legally. They're criminals. They vacated their rights when they came here illegally, but we have to consider their rights. They don't talk about the rights of the people of the state. They talk about the rights of the people that are here illegally. Their Constitution gives no rights to anyone that is not a citizen of our nation.
And our laws are chasing the best out of our country to seek work.
And that's the Democrats' thing now. That these people come to this country, they work hard, they get an education, they learn businesses, they learn how to do this, and then because we won't give them, they're not calling it amnesty, we won't give them a path to citizenship, they go back to Mexico. No, they don't.
Oh, really?
They don't go back to Mexico. Okay, you have the people in the Gulf states, which is a lot of the Latinos from the foreign countries, from the other countries, not necessarily Mexico, flooded into that area after the hurricane, the Katrina, and now the area is damaged, and they're afraid of the feds moving in and tossing them out because they're going to be taking jobs from people. And when you start taking jobs from people in high-paying areas, the Democrats then really get unhappy. And then they do toss your butts out. If you're working at McDonald's, they don't care. But if you're taking a construction job that pays $25 an hour, and some guy that's not here illegally wants the job, he's going to get that job.
And Donald Trump says public scorn is greater than he expected.
Nobody likes Donald Trump. They never liked Donald Trump. We tried this. Donald Trump does not have any money. He is the front man for his father. He always has been a front man for his father.
We're also discovering that's not uncommon.
That's right.
Japan to pass tsunami reconstruction budget.
Yeah, well, they've also decided that what they're going to do is they're going to fuel oil and coal to power their country now, which means they're going to go from clean energy to polluting energy. And then Obama, well, we want to help them with their alternate energy. They have to have energy now, not in 14 years, which he does not get through his head. Their idea is, they're strange. And I pointed out yesterday, they're abandoning wind and solar all over the world because it's cost prohibitive. All over the world they're abandoning it. They said, well, the United States is a ripe area for the Chinese to sell wind turbines and solar plants to, because they won't use them in their country because they use coal and fuel oil because they can't afford this stuff.
And Texas bill would make invasive pat-downs a felony.
Yeah, they're going to win the battle because
because they're doing it to kids.
They did a 9-month-old baby a pat-down because they said the law required it. There is no thing. Basically, that one finished off the TSA. I think the Republicans are getting ready to defund them this morning. A 9-month-old baby had to be checked for explosives and weapons. And the parents are threatening. The parents have filed child molestation charges, and they say, well, you can't do this because, no, Congress didn't pass that act. Congress did not pass the act because the Republicans are in charge in the House, and the Senate couldn't get Democrats. They just let it die because they did not want to touch that thing because they knew something like this was coming, because they're going to throw the person in a jail cell, throw the block away, because Napolitano, or whatever in charge, said, well, there was a lack of discretion. Well, like they said, what about when they're basically stripping Playboy playmates naked and then checking them out? Isn't that, you know?
Isn't, yeah.
And you know, we're talking, one of the big stars of India found, he's not coming back to the United States because they found pictures of his so-called security scan all over the internet. Those people are selling that stuff. They're saving everything. Nothing gets destroyed like the government says they are. They're saving everything.
That's pathetic.
All they got to do is push a button and they save everything.
That's pathetic.
But this is what happens. They said, here's one guy, here's a black Democrat last night. He said, you have thugs in the White House, thugs in the Justice Department, thugs in the TSA. What do you think you're going to have? Because we have a president that does not know the difference between right and wrong, and he's supposed to be a law professor who's never read the Constitution either. Yep.
Oh yeah, anti-bubbles from the Mark Twain of the Animal Kingdom.
Okay, if you're the head of the law enforcement of this nation and you don't know the difference from right and wrong, you should never be elected to that position.
Or nominated or given.
You know.